Hello, Keith. Hello, how are you?
I'm doing good, Tim. How are you today?
Yeah, very good, very good. Enjoying the weather here. It's very nice today, very warm.
That sounds awesome. So, how was your day so far?
Um, Not much today, actually. I've done a few other interviews, and then I've got a night at the studio tonight. So some bands rehearsing and see how they're getting on.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, Tim, tomorrow you'll be releasing the collaboration of David Bowie's Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. So,
Yeah,
quite a big name of
it's a long. We just call it Ziggy for short because it's too long.
yeah. So an amazing album. Almost it came out in 1972. This very same day tomorrow. And how did this idea come up with this collaboration to make a tribute to David Bowie?
This is the second one we've done because last year we did a 50th anniversary tribute to the Alice Cooper album Killer. Which originally was going to be a sort of one-off album, and then we enjoyed working on it so much at the label that we thought, well, let's do this again. Let's do a 50 years later tribute for an album that came out in 1972. So we had to sort of think about it for a while and go through it because there's so many great albums that came out, throughout every year of the 70s. There's lots. Every month it seems there was 6 or 7 great records being released. So we had to sort of come up with an idea, a short list, and narrowed it down to Ziggy in the end, and that's what we went for, the Bowie album. So yeah, 50 years tomorrow, like you said. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. And how did you find these bands to make this tribute? How was this all things work together to make this as a fantastic tribute album?
Some of the bands that we'd used on the previous album, a lot of the bands are kind of known to Sergeant Thunderhoof, who are the guy who runs the label with me is Dan, who's the singer from Sergeant Thunderhoof. I think you've interviewed Mark, haven't you, from Thunderhoof as well? So yeah, we sort of knew some of the bands from Thunderhoof, touring with them over the last few years, and some of them we just sort of approached out of the blue. We thought they'd be a good fit. Raging Speedhorn being a good example. We thought they'd be a really good fit for it, and it turned out they were. So that was a good call. They did a cover of a T-Rex song on their last album, almost as one of the bonus tracks, and it works really well. So we were hoping that we'd get a similar thing for their cover of a track on the Ziggy album, and we did. Yeah, it worked out brilliantly for us.
Amazing, amazing. And had the pleasure to listen to the album completely, and it was brilliant piece of work, I would say. I was not even dissatisfied, not even by a single song. Everything was done perfect. Everything came out togetherly well. So thank you guys so much for making out an amazing tribute for David Bowie, a legend, of course. So how, as the label, you feel about the outcome?
We are delighted with it. Like I said, we did do the one for Alice Cooper the year before, which was also sort of really well received. But I think this one sounds better to my ears. It sort of hangs together better as an album. I think the reason behind that is because we got to record a lot more at our studio this time. A lot of the bands came through to us, and those that didn't, a few of them we actually mixed the final version down anyway at our studio. So it kind of hangs together as an album better than the Alice Cooper one does. So as an end result, as an end product, we're delighted with it. So we've sort of set the bar now. If we're going to continue to do this, which we are, there's going to be one next year. Then we kind of have to keep that quality up, I think.
And do you have something on your mind for next year?
I do, yeah. I can't tell you now, not yet. But we've decided again. We have, because me and Dan are the guys ultimately responsible for choosing. So we have certain albums that each other like, and then we have to argue between the two of us, which happened for this year, definitely for Ziggy Stardust. But for next year, we kind of came to a mutual decision quite early on what we're going to do. It's a big project, but I can't tell you much more than that at this stage, unfortunately. But it's going to be exciting.
Looking forward to that next year. And tomorrow, what would be the release day plans for you guys?
So hopefully everyone who's pre-ordered has got the album now, because we did a Kickstarter for this one, just so everyone could get some sort of exclusive coloured vinyl and all the goodies associated with that. So I'm hoping by now, because we got the stock at the sort of end of last month, that everyone has got their copies. So we're just hoping that that some good reviews come in tomorrow, and people just post some links on social media saying they're listening to it, and give us some feedback that way. It would be great. I mean, just to celebrate the release of Bowie's album in the first place. I know that the actual David Bowie album Ziggy Stardust is being reissued on Friday by the record label, so there is a proper reissue from the real copy of it as well. But yeah, we're just hoping that ours gets noticed by some Bowie fans as well, and they appreciate what we've done, because yeah, we do think it is a good product at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what are the plans for you guys? Like, do you plan to come up with a CD, vinyl, T-shirts? What are the things that you're planning to go along with this new album?
So the album's available on CD and vinyl, and also digital from Bandcamp and our Big Cartel page. You can order, there's a coloured vinyl and a black vinyl. And then a CD is like a digipack version, which folds out and has like all the original artwork as well. CD comes with bonus tracks, which aren't on the original Ziggy album, which we did that last year with Alice Cooper as well, as a sort of stretch goal for Kickstarter. Because the Kickstarter was going so well, we thought if people are putting more money in, let's record some more tracks for them for the CD. So anyone that orders the CD will get the bonus tracks on the CD. Anyone that orders the vinyl, you'll get a digital download as well with the bonus tracks, so you're not missing out. But obviously the vinyl doesn't have those bonus tracks on it. Those are strictly, it's a strict replica of the original album in that respect. But yeah, we're all systems go for it. Tomorrow we've got plenty of stock of both, so we're expecting those orders to come rolling in now.
Sounds amazing. And any plans for the label to bring up all these artists together to go on a tour in tribute of David Bowie?
You know what? Someone asked me this question the other day as well, and up until that point, I hadn't even considered it. But that would be brilliant, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be just great? I would love to do that. Logistically, it would be a bit of a nightmare, but it would. I think, yeah, let's look into that. That would be really good. I would go and see that, wouldn't you, as a show?
Yeah,
all those songs. Yeah,
be awesome.
Great.
Yeah, and Pale Wizard Records was formed back in 2017 by Dan, and you joined later in 2020. So, would you like to tell me a bit about Pale Wizard Records and what are the works that you guys are currently doing?
So yeah, Dan started back in 2017 as a way of promoting a band that we know called Foxjewel. Our engineer Josh is in a band called Foxjewel who were brilliant, and we thought there's going to be big things ahead for them. So Pale Wizard was an idea he had just to release a single of theirs on 10-inch vinyl, just to sort of get them started in the world really of music. And he obviously did the trick, because they're signed. They played Download Festival this weekend, just gone. So it's looking good for them. And then after that, we sort of put it on ice a bit. Well, Dan didn't really have anything else to do with it for a while. And until the pandemic came along, and our studio was obviously closed and we couldn't work. So we had to kind of think, what can we do to make money here? And we had Pale Wizard Records sat there on the back burner. So Dan sort of said to me, do you want to join up the label and let's start releasing some records, and that was the first thing that we did. That the 50 years later for Alice Cooper was the first project we had in mind for it. And then once we did that, we thought, let's do more of this. So 50 years later is going to be a annual series at the moment. So there's going to be at least one of those a year. We've also got a project called Beyond the Pale, which Sergeant Thunderhoof did a cover of a Kate Bush song. So Beyond the Pale is a series of records, which is just going to be 12-inch singles, with some sort of heavy rock artists covering artists you necessarily wouldn't expect to hear them cover. I know Kate Bush is really popular now, but back when we did this a couple of years ago, she wasn't so much. So, so maybe we'll be ahead of the curve and we'll choose someone else again that's going to be a bit cutting edge for the next one of those. We're hoping to work on the next one of those within the next year or so as well. And obviously, Pale Wizard is also the label for Sergeant Thunderhoof as well, because Dan's band, we kind of have to release their stuff. And their new album has just come out at the beginning of this month, The Sceptred Veil, which I'm sure you've heard is getting excellent reviews across the board. So we're very pleased with that. So the future's looking bright for us. Yeah, it's looking good.
Amazing, amazing. And do you guys currently sign up any new bands?
We're not looking to sign anyone in particular at the moment, but I mean, if there are people watching that think that what they do might fit our sound and what we release, then we're happy to listen to any kind of demos or records that people have got, so they can send them on over. That's not a problem. But at the moment, we're not actively looking to sign, because we've got so much on board with these projects that we are doing for 50 years later next year. Because, like I said, it's going to be a big undertaking. Not trying to give too much away, but yeah.
And how Pale Wizard Records are looking into the future?
Yeah, we're looking forward to obviously getting to the point where we can maybe do more than 150 years later every year, and maybe then get to the point where we can have bands on the roster signed to us. But yeah, that's it's early days yet. We've only really been going for a couple of years, and a couple of those years were during the pandemic as well. So our ability to do a lot of things was scaled back by that. So, but now the world seems to be opening up a bit more, and things are looking more positive. We're hoping that, yeah, that means that we can undertake a few more projects in the future.
Sounds great. And apart from the record label, you guys also run the clothing line. So what exactly do you guys do on that?
Well, yeah, that was a project that we started just before we released the records. Just a few sort of fun T-shirts, speaking on a few popular bands and a few well-known TV shows over in the UK. I don't think we'll be continuing that line, let's say. It's something that we had an idea of doing, before we thought let's go into records, and it's not been the most successful venture we've ever done, to be fair. But there's still plenty of stock of those T-shirts. If anybody wants them, they're available from the Bandcamp and from the Big Cartel.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And do you plan to have any big festival in UK this year?
What, me personally?
With the label, I mean.
The label, not at this stage. No. We're hoping that next year we might be able to get Sergeant Thunderhoof on a few bigger bills at festivals. Now they've done really well with this album. I've all the reviews I've seen for this album have been full of praise. So hopefully some booking agents are going to take some notice of that. Would be nice.
Sounds amazing. And Tim, finally, any message that you want to give to the music fans around the world?
We're really big on physical media at Pale Wizard. That's our thing. It's making records that we ourselves would want to buy. So just want to encourage people to don't just listen to streaming, don't just listen to your downloads, go out there, support the artists and buy those products, buy the physical media, buy the records, buy the CDs, because I think in years to come people would really appreciate looking back and having a big record collection rather than just a load of files on a computer. And that's what so that's what I think, that's the message we really want to put out there. So keep enjoying your music any way you can, but if you can, support those artists by buying those physical products.
Amazing, Tim. And Tim, I want to thank you so much for giving me today this wonderful opportunity to have this great interview with you.
It's been
a real pleasure. And thank you guys so much for putting up this amazing 50 years tribute to David Bowie. If David Bowie was alive, I believe he would be more than happy to listen to this amazing word.
I'd be delighted with it, because he had such an eclectic taste in music himself. Over he changed his style so many times. I'm sure that a hard rock tribute to what he done, he would be well up for listening to that if he was still here. You're right, yeah.
True. Thank you, Tim, again, and have a great evening out there. Take care of yourself.
And you. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Take care. Bye-bye.